Welcome everybody to Motocross Action's 2024 Yamaha YZ450F tested video. We're at the bright and beautiful Glen Helen Raceway and we're excited to tell you guys all we know about this bike. The Yamaha YZ450F was our shootout winner last year and it's coming back for 2024 with no major changes. The only differences are that they're offering a 50th anniversary edition bike, which means you can get the cool graphics, seat cover, and all the good looks for 2024. You can still get the bike in Team Yamaha Blue, but we got the white one for today's video. We're gonna talk about the pros and cons right now. All right guys, so good times riding the YZ450F today at Glen Helen Raceway. As I mentioned, this is our 450 shootout winner from last year. Now coming into 2024, the Kawasaki KX450 is all new and we're excited to put this bike up against that one to see how they fare on the track in our shootout coming up. But we do like this bike a lot. I raced it quite a bit this past year. I raced it in stock form. I raced it with suspension and exhaust system set up for me going to race the Paula National there. So a lot of fun on the YZ450F, a lot of experience on this bike. This thing is extremely fast. Some of my favorite memories about this bike are pulling hole shots with ease here at Glen Helen. Pretty much any class, any day. If I have this bike, stock form, stock everything, I can pull a hole shot here at Glen Helen. It's pretty awesome how easy it is. And everybody knows, start is the key to the race. So a lot of hole shots on it. Also love how long second gear is. This thing has a high rev limiter and just overall a long pull inside the engine. And with that, I'm able to hold second gear a lot longer down some of the straightaways. So when I'm getting tired and lazy and I don't want to take that extra shift, second gear actually pulls pretty far. So Dennis Stapleton, he rode the bike here with us and he's going to talk a little bit more about gearing, but we get a hard time. Motocross Action Wrecking Crew, we've given Yamaha a hard time over the years. Then when they introduced this all new platform last year with the updated frame, updated engine, and especially the updated ergonomics where it's a taller seat to foot peg height and seat to handlebar, much better cockpit last year, we started praising Yamaha. This was our 450 shootout winner. We had nothing but good things to say about it. And a lot of people have given us a hard time with our 250 shootout results, with the Yamaha not doing so well in that one. I think part of that is because we had such high expectations after liking the 450 so much, but the 250 didn't live up to that. But long story short, this is last year's 450 shootout winner. Excited to see how it compares to the Kawasaki. So we're gonna throw Dennis on here and see what he thinks about the bike. So both Dennis and I have spent a lot of time on this bike this last year, and Dennis rode it with me today. What'd you think about it?
Overall, you know, it's one of those bikes that I jumped on and it's really easy to feel good and fast right off the bat. We're fortunate enough to ride lots of bikes, so sometimes when we're going to do video or photos, you get on a bike and you're like, oh, I just don't feel that good. Well, not the case on this bike. I feel quick, nimble, makes me feel young, like I could flick it around really easy. Have that feeling like Jetson hopping the bumps and doing all the cool stuff on the track. Yeah. Sure, I don't look that way, but it does feel cool. The second gear, the power, just has a quick throttle response, makes the bike feel lively. Overall, that was a little bit of a problem for some of our older vet guys last year, as it's so nimble and so lively. We had to put a 48 sprocket from a 49 on it, as they weren't fast enough to carry speed to ride third gear, and second was just too much for him. So we had to calm it down for some of our guys that just didn't like that abrupt, snappy power, where our fast guys really enjoyed it. Otherwise, the handling for this thing, it's the good KYB stuff, you know, people like it. It's not quite as rider friendly as maybe some of the old generation bikes, as stable or fork sensitive position as much, but overall, it's still really good. I really like the suspension. It works well for me. It feels like it squats in the turns and has a good balance point. It is a little bit nervous at high speed with the front end. Some of us dropped the forks down a few mil in the clamps, helping that. And the clutch, some people in our group don't really like the snap of the clutch. It's pretty aggressive. Most bikes nowadays have the hydraulic clutch. This still has the cable. So the cable clutch guys are obviously a huge fan of this. The hydraulic guys, not so much. Josh can run the lever a lot looser. When I hop on the bike, I have to tighten the knob up to take a little bit less play out of it for feel for myself. Last year, we all noticed after spending a lot of time, this seat is kind of brutal. The round edges and the taller feel will definitely give you a run for your money and give you some chafing if you're not used to it. So that was one of the things that kind of offset it. And then the map switch, kill switch, some of our guys always hit when they want to shut the bike off, they hit the bigger button, which is the map switch, and the little button on top is the kill switch. Some of the guys wish that was switched around. Overall, Shootout winner last year, fun bike to ride, easy to be aggressive, confident, inspiring bike. We really enjoy riding this thing. So don't forget, modern day bikes have a lot of adjustment. The handlebar position, you can run 4 different positions. They got a front hole in the top triple clamp. You can swing the bar mounts around forward, backwards, lots of adjustment. The levers also have adjustment. They require tools, unlike some other levers that we really like that are hands-on device, but you can bring the levers in or out on this bike with some tools. Also, the owner's manual has all the torque settings, chain slack position, all this stuff will make the bike the best it can be, including that this bike also has the Power Tuner app. You take the left number plate off, get the serial number off there, get some Bluetooth, add it to your phone. You're able to adjust it, which Josh and I did this morning. We put it in the most mellow map we could on one setting and then the standard map in the other so we could ride back and forth and feel the difference. It also has a log in there that you could keep notes or see how many hours are on your bike so you know when oil changes and all that stuff's good. And overall, it's pretty good. And if you're looking for anything more than that, there is people out there that vortex or get ignitions to really detune this to make it rideable for long hours, or like when Josh rode the National last year, to be able to hang on for those 30 minutes.
So a couple things that I did to race this bike in stock form. I dropped the sag to 108 to get the rear end a little bit lower. I also dropped the forks to flush in the triple clamps. I go in on the compression clickers. It is really nice that you have the adjustable by hand clickers right here. Got seat cover with the wings on the side. I have that. That's gonna be the first thing I add onto the bike before I race it this weekend at the World Vet Championship. I put the wings on here for the Yamaha seat because it is so shallow and so thin. There's not a lot of girth to it. They're not able to put such big wings on there, so it doesn't make as much of a difference as it does on the KTM. Still helpful to have some extra traction to grip onto. Grip tape is very, very important on this thing. I just lather up the side with grip tape, and that's basically all I do to make the YZ450F good for me in stock form. Once you start adding some money to the budget and going racing some of the bigger events, I took the suspension to Enzo. They added some more compression and bumped up just the stiffness of the suspension, which helped me at the Paula National. Also, Luxon has their Gen 3 Pro triple clamps. They're split triple clamps, so they offer a little better feel on the front end, but they also offer 4 different offsets. So adjustable offset, you can go stock, which is 22. You can actually go back in, which is 21. 23 mil and 24 adds a little more stability, lengthens the bike out just slightly. And I raced the Paula National with it on 24 and also had 5 mil bar risers from Luxon. That helped, but in testing afterwards, I've actually liked the 23 offset setting with the new rubber bar mounts that Luxon makes for their triple clamps. We've also done a lot of exhaust testing, but we're in the process of working on a shootout between Yoshimura, FMF, Pro Circuit, DRD, and HGS exhaust systems. So a full Yamaha 450 shootout on the exhaust systems is coming soon. The biggest thing about all of those is that they detune the initial hit of the power, making it a little bit easier to ride. And then throughout the different options that we mentioned, they offer more and less power through the mid-range and more and less tonnage on the initial crack of the throttle. So lots of good things that you can do to fix this bike and make it a little more comfortable. The biggest thing I should mention also, the poor man's steering dampener, tightening up the steering up here to slow down that wiggle that you get down the hills. This bike is very, very nimble. Comparing the 22 and prior model YZ450Fs, ultra stable, but heavy, bulky, and kind of hard to turn. So this one's like extremely nimble, much more like a Honda, much more exciting to throw whips off the finish line. It's very comfortable on a smooth track, but then it does get a little bit of that wiggle on the front end, which we've complained about, and that's where the offset from Luxon, bringing that out a little bit helps. Also, detuning the power helps a little bit, and of course, adding some more compression to the forks. Overall, good times on this bike. So a couple other points we should mention before we let you guys go. This thing does hit high 58, almost 59 horsepower on the dyno, so it was the third fastest bike last year. It feels like the fastest bike on the track though, because it is so snappy off the bottom and just pulls so strong to the mid-range. One thing we should tell you though is you need to keep a close eye on your air filter. It is mounted up here at the front. It's got the downdraft intake system, and it's pulling a lot of air through that air filter, and there is times when you can get some dirt passing the air filter with the stock setup. Twin Air makes a power flow kit, which is a more domed filter, but it's also got an extra clip on the front that does require some tools to get it on and off, but it gives you a little more security and a little more protection going into your air box, so you're not gonna get some dust and dirt slipping past the air filter. Also, we mentioned this seat multiple times. I mentioned that I like the Guts seat cover with the wings. It does make it a little bit nicer. Guts also does offer a wider seat foam, which will be a lot more friendly for anybody who is riding their bike more than 5 minutes. Other notes, YZ450F is a lot of fun. We did mention this is the 90s edition or 50th anniversary edition bike with the 90s graphics scheme on it. And long story short, a lot of fun on the track. Thank you guys for watching this video. We're excited to put this up against the 2024 KX450. Stay tuned for that video and more on motocrossactionmag.com. Subscribe to your YouTube channel. Follow him at StapleMX on Instagram. We'll see you guys in the next video.